Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez divorce papers already filed? Shocking evidence. You've probably seen the headlines. They're everywhere. A digital firestorm is raging across social media, all fueled by one explosive claim. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, just days after their massive star-studded wedding in Venice, have already filed for divorce. The story goes that behind the public smiles and million-dollar parties, the world's most talked-about newlyweds are already calling it quits. People are pointing to supposedly leaked legal papers and clandestine insider sources, weaving a narrative so dramatic it feels like it was ripped straight from a Hollywood script. But in an era where a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its boots on, what's actually happening? Is the Venetian fairy tale already a tragedy? We decided to look past the clickbait and the anonymous forum posts, to investigate the alleged documents and so-called leaks to find out what's real. And what we found is not what you think. The central claim is as shocking as it is simple. Divorce papers have been filed. Just picture the scene. A breathtaking wedding celebration in Venice, Italy, that reportedly cost millions. Guests like Kim Kardashian, Oprah, and Leonardo DiCaprio are ferried across the canals to attend parties that last all night. The couple is photographed smiling, waving, looking like they're on top of the world. Lauren even changes her name on Instagram to Lauren Sánchez Bezos. And then, crickets. A sudden shift. Anonymous accounts start posting blurry screenshots of what looks like legal paperwork. Tabloid aggregators pick it up, and before you know it, #Bezos divorce is trending. The story is that it was all a show, and the second the vows were exchanged, the legal escape hatch was opened. But is any of it real? Or is this one of the most audacious hoaxes to ever capture the public's imagination? The scandal deconstructing the digital rumor mill. To get this story, you have to understand where it came from. This wasn't broken by a reputable news organization. There was no official statement, no verified court documents. This rumor was born in the dark corners of the internet, where speculation and fabrication can cook up a believable narrative with scary speed. The first whispers popped up on fringe gossip forums. The so-called evidence was flimsy, at best. We're talking poorly photoshopped images of legal forms, with names and dates conveniently blurred just enough to seem real. They had intimidating titles like Petition for Dissolution of Marriage, designed to look official to anyone not paying close attention. These images were then slapped with sensational captions: Insider leak, Bezos and Sánchez split, or it was all for show. Divorce papers filed the next day. From there, the social media algorithm did the rest. The posts were amplified by huge gossip accounts on Instagram and TikTok, pages that operate in a journalistic gray area, often passing off speculation as fact. They created short, dramatic videos set to tense music, flashing between photos of the happy couple at their wedding and the blurry leaked documents. The narrative was simple, effective, and completely viral. The fairy tale was a lie. What gave the rumor so much power was that it tapped into an existing story about the couple. Their relationship started in controversy, and for years they've been under intense, often critical, public scrutiny. There are a lot of people who seem to be waiting for, or even hoping for, their relationship to fail. That skepticism was dry tinder, and the divorce rumor was the match. Then came the quotes from so-called insiders. These anonymous sources, who were never named and whose connection to the couple was never proven, offered up dramatic soundbites. He had cold feet the entire time. One claimed it was the prenup. The fight was so bad, the marriage was dead on arrival. Another alleged. These quotes made the whole thing feel more personal and therefore more believable. But when you start to pull at the threads, the entire story unravels fast. The billion-dollar backstory, relationship forged in controversy. To really get why people were so ready to believe this rumor, you have to rewind. The story of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez isn't a simple romance. It's a saga that's been playing out on the world stage, marked by scandal, unbelievable wealth, and non-stop public judgment. Their relationship went public in January 2019, and the timing was explosive. On the exact same day that Bezos, then the world's richest man, announced his divorce from his wife of 25 years, Mackenzie Scott, the National Enquirer, published a story detailing his affair with Sánchez, who was also married at the time. The story included their private text messages, which kicked off a media firestorm and a private investigation led by Bezos himself into the leak. From the jump, their relationship was defined by the messy end of their previous marriages. Mackenzie Scott, who was with Bezos before Amazon was even a thought, walked away with a $38 billion settlement and a tidal wave of public sympathy. She dedicated herself to philanthropy, signing the giving pledge and donating billions to charity, a move many saw as a quiet, dignified rebuke of her ex-husband's new, flashier lifestyle. Meanwhile, Bezos and Sánchez became paparazzi gold. They were photographed on lavish vacations, partying on Bezos's $500 million superyacht, and hitting up high-profile events. Their public displays of affection were constant and over the top. To some, it was a picture of two people madly in love. To others, it just felt like they were flaunting it. They became a symbol of billionaire excess and a lightning rod for criticism. The public's view wasn't helped by what seemed like a total rebranding of Bezos. The nerdy tech CEO was suddenly muscular, wearing tight-fitting shirts, and leaning into a celebrity lifestyle. Sánchez, a former TV host, was often painted as a femme fatale who had lured the billionaire away from his family. Whether fair or not, that narrative stuck. Their engagement was announced in May 2023, with a massive diamond ring estimated to be worth up to $5 million. The wedding, finally set for late June 2025 in Venice, was always going to be a spectacle. But even that was controversial. Locals protested the event, angry that billionaires were using their historic city as a private playground. The sheer scale of the thing only amplified the feeling that this was a couple living in a different reality. This backstory is the reason the rumor mill had so much to work with. The public was primed to believe the worst, because in many ways they had been expecting it all along. The evidence on trial why it all falls apart. Okay, so let's get to it. The internet says there's shocking evidence. But when you actually look at it, it doesn't just look weak, it completely disappears. Let's start with the supposed leaked divorce papers. These were blurry, low-res images posted by anonymous accounts. Not a single reputable news organization on the planet, not a major network, not People magazine, not Page 6 has reported seeing or verifying any such document. A legal filing of this magnitude would be public record. Reporters would find it. The fact that the only proof is a shady screenshot is the biggest red flag you can imagine. It's the digital equivalent of a note scrawled in crayon. The timing also makes zero sense. The couple held a multi-day wedding celebration. They were seen looking happy just days and weeks after the ceremony, traveling in the south of France and attending conferences together. Lauren Sánchez even changed her name on Instagram to Lauren Sánchez Bezos right after the wedding, a very strange move for someone who supposedly just filed for divorce. Then you have the anonymous insider quotes. This is a classic tabloid trick. An unnamed source provides a juicy quote, but who are they? A disgruntled former employee, someone who knows someone, or more likely completely made up. Without a name, a source is just a ghost. All the credible evidence points in the exact opposite direction. Reputable outlets confirmed their wedding took place in late June 2025 in Venice. They were photographed smiling and waving as they left the city. This public behavior just doesn't line up with a secret, immediate divorce. So if the papers are fake and the sources are phantoms, where did this story come from? The answer is probably a massive misunderstanding, or a deliberate twisting of the one piece of legal paperwork that was genuinely being discussed. And that document wasn't for a divorce. It was for the exact opposite. It's clear the story the internet is telling is full of holes. But that begs the question, what is happening behind the scenes? There were teams of lawyers. There were intense negotiations. But it wasn't about ending a marriage, it was about starting one. We're about to break down the real story that got twisted into this massive rumor. But first, if you're finding this useful and want more deep dives that cut through the noise, now is a great time to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And let us know in the comments, did you fall for the divorce rumors when you first heard them? We'd love to hear your take. The real story, it's not divorce, it's an ironclad prenup. The real story here isn't about divorce, it's about a prenup, an incredibly complex, meticulously crafted, and absolutely essential prenuptial agreement. When you understand the history and the money involved, you realize this document was non-negotiable, and how the fight to create it could easily be mistaken for a breakup. Let's go back to Bezos' first divorce in 2019. He and Mackenzie Scott were married for 25 years without a prenup. They married before he founded Amazon. Because they lived in a community property state, their assets were considered jointly owned. This meant Mackenzie was legally entitled to as much as half of the Amazon fortune. She walked away with a stake worth around $38.3 billion, one of the most expensive divorce settlements in history. While the split was called amicable, the financial lesson for Bezos was brutal. He learned the hard way what happens when you don't have legal safeguards. Now fast forward to his relationship with Lauren Sánchez. By the time they decided to get married, Bezos' net worth was over $220 billion. It is legally and financially unthinkable that he would enter a second marriage without an ironclad prenup. His lawyers simply would not have let it happen. This is almost certainly where the confusion started. Experts describe the Bezos-Sánchez prenup as being as complex as a corporate merger. It involves teams of high-powered lawyers on both sides. It requires full financial disclosure, which for Bezos is an insane undertaking involving his stakes in Amazon, Blue Origin, The Washington Post, and a massive real estate portfolio. These negotiations are by nature intense. They can feel hostile. As one legal expert put it, a prenup negotiation is basically a divorce, just done in advance of marriage. You are planning for the worst-case scenario. Reports suggest the agreement makes it clear that Bezos's business assets are his separate property, meaning Sánchez would not get a chunk of Amazon shares like Mackenzie did. It likely outlines specific provisions for her, but its main job is to protect the core of his empire. Now imagine whispers of these intense legal meetings leaking out. To an outsider, or someone looking to start drama, teams of lawyers fighting over assets sounds an awful lot like a divorce. The very process designed to protect the marriage was twisted into a rumor about its end. The prenup wasn't a sign of trouble, it was a sign of pure practicality. It was a necessary move to protect his fortune and his legacy, a lesson learned from a $38 billion experience. What happens next? A future under the microscope. So the divorce rumor is officially debunked. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez are newlyweds, protected by a fortress of a prenuptial agreement. But this whole episode shows what their future is going to look like. Their marriage will exist under a level of scrutiny few couples ever have to deal with. They are and will continue to be one of the most polarizing couples on the planet. This viral rumor is just a preview of what's to come. Every public appearance will be analyzed. Every social media post will be dissected. Every anonymous insider will be given a platform by gossip sites hungry for clicks. The public narrative that was so quick to believe the divorce rumor isn't going away overnight. The real question is, can their relationship handle this kind of pressure? Yes, wealth creates a bubble, but no bubble is completely shatterproof. The constant judgment and the circulation of lies are challenges that can wear down even the strongest relationships. Theirs was born in a media firestorm, and it looks like it's destined to be lived in one. This whole thing also says a lot about our media landscape. It shows the power of disinformation and how much people want to believe stories that confirm what they already think. The rumor spread so fast not because of evidence, but because a lot of people wanted it to be true. It's a cautionary tale about checking your sources, especially when the proof is non-existent. For Jeff and Lauren, the path forward will mean putting on a united front against a world that seems determined to see them fail. Their journey has been unconventional from the start, and it's a safe bet their marriage will be no different. The world will be watching, waiting for the next chapter. So there you have it. The sensational headlines about Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez as immediate divorce. It's a myth. There are no credible reports, no court filings, and zero evidence to back it up. All available information shows a newly married couple who just celebrated their wedding. The rumor seems to be a classic case of internet misinformation, likely born from a complete misreading of the intense negotiations around their necessary and ironclad prenuptial agreement. A prenup isn't romantic, but it was absolutely essential for Bezos, and the process of creating it got twisted into a story of collapse. What this really shows is the bizarre intersection of extreme wealth, public opinion, and the speed of digital rumors. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez are married, but they're also signed up for a life under a microscope. What do you think? Does this kind of public pressure make a relationship impossible, or is it just part of the deal when you're a billionaire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read them all, and if you appreciate content that actually digs for the real story, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.